Hi and welcome to Rebecca Assimilates. We are going to be looking at the flow of sentences and the rhythm of sentences and how many words are in each sentence that are in each paragraph, how many syllables are in the words, and the breaks in sentences, the pauses and the rhythms that are formed here, and what those rhythms can do to a reader as they're reading, how they can actually dictate to a reader how to read a certain section. It's kind of something that writers, I think we do it without realising it, hopefully. It's kind of like a subconscious thing that we do. If you actually sit down and think about it, and then when you read books, you look at it, it gets really fascinating to see what authors do and how the way that the rhythm of what they write, or the complete lack of rhythm, as we will see, actually really can help convey a feeling in a reader. It's quite amazing really, and a little bit scientific, I guess, I don't know. We will see. My first example of this is from a book called The Conqueror by Con Iggulden. The Khan's palace was lit with lamps that spat and crackled on the outer walls and gates. Inside, the sound of rain was a low roar that rose and fell in intensity, pouring as solid sheets over the cloisters. Servants gazed out into the yards and gardens, lost in the mute fascination that rain can hold. They stood in groups, reeking of wet wool and silk, their duties abandoned for a time while the storm passed. Okay, so in that example, every sentence in that paragraph was very different. It's sort of, one sentence would have quite a lot of words and would be broken by a comma. The next sentence would not have that many words, not have anything to it. The next one might be really long and have 2 commas, and then the next one might have kind of like a medium amount of words and have a comma. And basically that example didn't follow any rhythm, and that was to keep the readers a little bit interested. It wasn't monotonous because the description needed to be done, but it's the moments of description in the book that sometimes we can lose readers. And so having a rhythm that doesn't stick to any predictability like that is a way of being able to get a bit of description out without losing a reader, because they're interested, because what they're reading is not falling into a predictable rhythm. I have another example for you where the amount of words in the sentences slowly build with each sentence. It's building. Each sentence is separated by a comma, and there's sort of, say, like 4 words, comma, another 4 words, and then there's like 6 words, comma, 4 words, and then there's like 5 words, comma, 7 words, and it just keeps building and it just keeps building and it builds. And readers are like getting used to, subconsciously, without realising it, their brains are getting used to it building. It's like it's a rhythm of building, it's predictable, and then all of a sudden the very important bit of information at the end is a complete smack in the face. And the author wanted this to happen, and that is because it is only 3 words, the last sentence. It's a complete break to the rhythm that has been in place, that we are getting used to, that is predictable and reliable, and then all of a sudden 3 words. Okay, so it is from The Last Girl by Jo Hart. Zoe swallows, placing her hands against the glass that's as cold as the concrete floor. Her breath fogs the area in front of her face, and she draws a circle there. Inside the circle, she makes 7 dots with the tip of her finger, 1 for each of the remaining women, then swipes the last dot away. Tomorrow, only 6. And it's because it's la 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 la. Oh, it's getting more and more, and tomorrow only 6. So yes, it's a really important bit of information that if it actually was just shoved in another sentence, just as a little bit of information on the end and kept with the rhythm, it wouldn't be so in your face as it is when it is just a sudden punchy tomorrow only 6. It's intentional or not, it is a wonderful break of rhythm that helps it stand out. Okay, my last example, I'm just going to read it and see what you think. So, a snort, quickly muffled. No surprise where that came from. Beckwith's eyes narrowed. He glared at Jessica, if looks could kill. Serene, she gazed back at him. Innocent as the day is long. except for the diversory glint in her cat green eyes. No hiding that. So that example was from Fade to Dead by Tara Moore. You know, the characters in that scene, they don't like each other, and when they're together there's a tension, and the characters are feeling the tension, and when you read that, the readers are feeling the uncomfortable, prickly tension as well, because of the absolute lack of any kind of form of rhythm in that paragraph. The sentences, they don't fit to a mould. They don't work well together. Some of them are big, some of them are small, some of them have sentence breakpoints, pauses, some of them don't, some of them go on forever, some of them are teeny weeny, and it is that lack of predictability that makes the readers feel the uneasiness that actually is quite good for them to feel, because that is what they should be feeling. It's an uneasy situation for the characters. So it has been used perfectly, whether it is subconsciously or not, by the author to really dictate to readers how they should be feeling in that moment. And that is the power of using rhythm in your sentences. I mean, you could get a little bit obsessed like with this, how I do, just a little bit obsessed. And it's very interesting then when you read and you actually pay attention to these things, and you start sort of counting syllables in words, and you count words in sentences, and then you also start counting, you know, sentences in paragraphs, and then you could even just look at a whole book and count how many paragraphs are in the whole book, and does each chapter have the same amount of paragraphs? Is there a pattern to it? Is there a secret code going on? There are authors out there that do this, which is quite interesting, and there's some of them that do it wonderfully and don't even realise. But it's definitely a really good technique if you're a writer to try and get some kind of feeling across that you're finding difficult to get across in a scene in your writing. Maybe have a little play with the rhythm and the layout and the structure of the sentences in the paragraph, and see if that can help, if that might help. Give it to someone else to read and see how they feel, so if it changes things. And above all, have fun with your writing. Please leave me some comments below about how you feel about this and the rhythm. Have you noticed it? Am I crazy? Does no one else notice these things? And that is it for today. So I will see you soon.